I'm Christopher German for KCTV News for Thursday, October 23rd, 2025. For tonight's broadcast, the stories we're following for you. Rural hospitals across Oregon are bracing for a severe financial crisis as deep federal Medicaid cuts take effect and risk closure of some facilities. And Oregon's U.S. Senator Jeff Merkley ended his marathon speech on the Senate floor yesterday, clocking in at 22 hours and 37 minutes, third longest in history. And a strong shift in the weather pattern is now underway, bringing increasing clouds and building winds through tonight, with weather intensifying into Friday morning as winds further increase. So make sure you tune in every morning for weather from the Skywatch Weather Center with weather from the Klamath Basin for the Klamath Basin. And tonight's news is brought to you by...
Have you ever wondered what you were missing with streaming television? Well, how about 30,000 sets of eyes each month at KCTV? That's exactly how many people tune in to KCTV each month, and they could be visiting your business right now if you advertised on KCTV. With a 30-second ad that runs on our station, our advertisers are getting some great response and some great return on their investment. Call today, 541-880-4913, and inquire about how to advertise on KCTV.
Our top story, rural hospitals across Oregon are bracing for a severe financial crisis as deep federal Medicaid cuts mandated by the recently signed H.R. 1 budget law threaten their stability. Healthcare providers are issuing urgent warnings that the impending impacts could trigger clinic closures, exacerbate staffing shortages, and lead to a concerning exodus of doctors from Oregon's already underserved communities. In response to this critical situation, the Oregon Health Authority is vigorously pursuing a temporary financial lifeline through the federal government's new Rural Health Transformation Program, RHTP. This short-term initiative is designed specifically to assist rural health systems in navigating the financial fallout. If Oregon's application proves successful, the state stands to receive up to $100 million annually for a period of 5 years, commencing in 2026. These vital funds would be strategically deployed to bolster rural clinics, significantly expand telehealth services, invest in training for local healthcare providers, and modernize outdated healthcare infrastructure, among other crucial improvements. An OHA official clarified at a recent public forum that the federal government's criteria for defining rural are multifaceted, giving Oregon flexibility in how the funds are allocated. While there isn't a strict mandate for specific geographical areas, the governor's office has clearly indicated the funds are intended for rural regions, providing broad scope for the state's plan. However, state health leaders temper optimism with a dose of caution, acknowledging that even with the potential funding, Oregon faces a formidable uphill battle. An OHA spokesperson stated plainly that the RHTP is a valuable opportunity, but it's not enough. Without long-term solutions, rural communities may lose essential care and doctors who provide it. The OHA outlined its comprehensive plan for the RHTP at a public forum earlier this month, gathering crucial public feedback. The state's detailed application must be submitted to the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services by November 5th, 2025, with funding award decisions anticipated by December 31st of the same year. Key proposals within Oregon's application include expanded telehealth and remote monitoring in remote areas, investing in AI-powered and technology-enabled tools for improved chronic disease management, offering training and recruitment incentives to retain healthcare providers in rural settings, and bolstering opioid and mental health care treatment programs, and upgrading critical hospital infrastructure and cybersecurity systems. To qualify for funding, Oregon is required to commit to at least 3 of the program's permissible uses, all of which prioritize modernizing care, enhancing access, and stabilizing rural health systems. Looking ahead, CMS is expected to announce award decisions by December 31st, 2025. Following this, the state will begin issuing requests for proposals and selecting project partners between February and May of 2026, with the final year for the use of RHTP funds set for September 2031. Despite the immediate relief that the RHTP funding could offer, significant long-term concerns persist. Many experts worry that this short-term solution will prove insufficient to counteract the deeper systemic cuts introduced by H.R. 1, which is substantially reducing Medicaid reimbursements, a primary revenue source for rural hospitals. Healthcare leaders are issuing stark warnings that without further policy changes at both state and federal levels, the existing challenges of doctor shortages, escalating operational costs, and the inherent geographic barriers of rural healthcare will inevitably worsen. A rural clinic administrator captured the sentiment at a recent forum, stating, "This is a crossroad moment. We can't keep asking small hospitals to do more with less. Without real reform, we'll see more closures and more communities left without care." And Oregon Tech has formally launched a direct admission program for high school students who have earned college credit through the university's established dual credit courses. The new initiative, which became effective this year, is designed to significantly simplify and expedite the college admission process for students who have already demonstrated their ability to succeed in Oregon Tech's college-level curriculum. The program automatically evaluates high school seniors who are taking Oregon Tech dual credit courses for admission to the university, thereby removing the requirement for them to submit a separate full application. The logic behind this approach, according to the university officials, is that these students and their schools have already completed the paperwork for college credit courses, and it helps the student to not require them to repeat that. Oregon Tech's dual credit program is extensive, partnering with 82 high schools across the state and serving over 5,000 students annually. This new direct admission pathway is the third of its kind implemented by Oregon Tech since 2022, following successful participation in the niche direct admission and Common App direct admission programs. The university views this as part of a broader commitment to streamlining admissions, reducing applicant stress, and providing reassurance to high-potential students that higher education is accessible, fit for them. Eligible high school seniors will be contacted directly by an Oregon Tech admissions counselor with their offer of admission and details on how the next steps could be towards enrollment. And Oregon's U.S. Senator Jeff Merkley recently concluded a marathon speech on the Senate floor, clocking in at 22 hours and 37 minutes, marking it as the third longest solo address in the chamber's history. The extraordinary effort was undertaken to ring the alarm bells about what he characterized as the Trump administration's authoritarian consolidation of power. Throughout the nearly day-long address, Merkley warned that the president's goal is to replace a government of and by and for the people with one of, by and for the powerful. He argued that the nation is currently an authoritarian strongman state, aided by a rubber-stamp Congress and a Supreme Court that is increasingly shifting power to the executive branch. Senator Merkley specifically cited a well-planned strategy to trample our democratic institutions, thanks to Project 2025. Merkley's core messages emphasize the foundational principles of American democracy, stating that Americans are standing up because the president is not a king. Laws are not suggestions, and following the Constitution is not optional. His speech, which began Tuesday evening and concluded Wednesday afternoon, came as Congress remained deadlocked over a funding bill amid an ongoing government shutdown. He also used the floor to critique the administration's policies, including what he describes as a weaponization of the Justice Department, the deployment of National Guard to cities like his hometown of Portland, and efforts to cut health care. As he concluded the over 22-hour continuous address, Merkley reiterated his starting point. After over 22 hours on the floor, my message is exactly the same as it was when I started. We need to stand strong together to ring the alarm bells that Trump's authoritarianism is here now. And the Trailblazers head coach, Chauncey Billups was arrested this morning in Portland as part of a major federal investigation into illegal gambling and organized crime. Billups' arrest is related to a separate but connected criminal case focused on an illegal high-stakes poker operation that is allegedly tied to the mafia. He has reportedly been charged with wire fraud, conspiracy for his alleged role in the scheme, which authorities claim was a highly organized effort to rig games and fleece victims using high-tech cheating methods. Importantly, law enforcement sources have indicated that the charges against Billups are not related to any games he coached in for the Trailblazers. Billups was on the sidelines coaching the night before his arrest. The arrest is part of a broader federal crackdown that has resulted in over 30 people being charged, including current Miami Heat player Terry Rozier, who was arrested in Orlando in connection with a different indictment alleging an insider sports betting scheme involving the exploitation of confidential NBA information. As of the latest reports, spokespeople for the Portland Trailblazers and the NBA have not yet issued an immediate public comment regarding Billups' arrest or any potential employment actions, such as suspension or termination. Billups is expected to make an initial court appearance in Oregon later today. And Pacific Core, the parent company of electric utility Pacific Power, has reached a $125 million settlement with 93 Oregon wineries and vineyards that sued the utility for damages caused by the 2020 Labor Day weekend fires. The wineries, primarily in the Willamette Valley, alleged that the utility negligence in failing to shut off the power during a dangerous windstorm led to fires that damaged their grape crops with smoke taint. This latest agreement brings the total amount Pacific Core has settled for claims related to the 2020 wildfires to nearly $750 million. This total includes several significant earlier settlements, $299 paid to victims for the Archie Creek fire in southern Oregon, a $250 million settlement with timber companies that also suffered losses in the Archie Creek fire area, and a $178 million settlement with a group of over 400 individuals, many of whom were affected by the Echo Mountain fire. The utility, which is owned by Berkshire Hathaway, stated that the settlement was a good faith effort to resolve claims fairly. However, Pacific Core still faces ongoing legal challenges and a large class action lawsuit where juries in separate trials have already awarded hundreds of millions in damages, which the company is currently appealing. The total liability for Pacific Core from the 2020 wildfires could ultimately amount to billions of dollars. And the state of Oregon has implemented a new judicial order, Chief Justice Order number 24-014 on September 1st of this year, which revises the guidelines for how county correctional facilities determine the pretrial release or detention of individuals arrested. This order updates the release guidelines categorization list, which is designed to ensure sheriffs and local jails consistently apply statewide pretrial standards mandated by the Oregon Judicial Department, or OJD. This latest revision incorporates new offenses created by House Bill 4002, legislation that primarily recriminalized possession of small amounts of illicit drugs, now classified as drug enforcement misdemeanors. The update also includes a new law addressing trespassing at the scene of a death investigation. Klamath County Sheriff Shane L. Mitchell emphasized the importance of these updates, noting that the state's classification system directly impacts the daily processing and housing decisions for adults in custody. The guidelines categorize offenses into three primary levels. Guideline 1, release on recognizance. This applies to non-person misdemeanors and many drug possession charges, allowing for release simply on the individual's promise to appear in court. Guideline 2 is a conditional release. This requires the individual to be released with specific conditions covering offenses such as DUI, driving under the influence of intoxicants, or non-domestic assaults. Guideline 3, mandatory hold for arraignment. This mandates that individuals charged with violent felonies, sex crimes, or domestic violence offenses must be held until their first court appearance before a judge. The OJD has committed to conducting quarterly reviews to keep the guidelines current with any new legislative or statutory changes. And the Siskiyou Mountain Film Tour, a collaboration between the Klamath Trails Alliance and the Siskiyou Mountain Club, taking place this evening, Thursday, October 23rd, at the Bravada Brewhouse Annex in Klamath Falls. Doors open at 5 p.m., with the films beginning at 5:30 p.m. The screening is free to the public, and while donations are encouraged, attendees can also enjoy coffee, food, beer, and wine. The trio of short documentaries celebrates public lands and the people who maintain them, focusing on Southern Oregon and far Northern California regions. The three films featured in the tour are Mountain Top Legacy. This film chronicles the reconstruction of the historic Mountain Fire Lookout, which was lost in 2020 Slater Fire, and dedicated volunteers who worked to rebuild it in 2024. Grimes Go Wild is the next film, a documentary following the 2024 intern Chloe Grimes through her experience as a member of the Siskiyou Mountain Club's Wilderness Corps. And National Forests Now. This short film explores the significant shifts in national forest management over the last 3 decades, detailing the agency's history, its current status, and the vital role of local communities in supporting America's public lands. The tour has already made stops in locations such as Cave Junction, Gold Beach, and Happy Camp, with the Klamath Falls stop being a key event featuring a Q&A session with the filmmakers. The Siskiyou Mountain Club, based in Ashland, is known for its work in restoring and maintaining remote backcountry trails, such as the recent opening of the Lone Pilot Trail in the Soda Mountain Wilderness. Now let's take a look at the weather, shall we? A strong shift in the weather pattern is now underway. It'll happen overnight tonight, bringing increasing clouds and building winds through tonight. Coastal areas and the Shasta Valley will experience a pickup in winds from the south, with higher terrain also affected, while inland areas like the Klamath Basin will remain dry tonight. The coast may see the first signs of showers late tonight and into tomorrow morning. Overnight lows will be near freezing in the Klamath Basin. The weather will intensify into Friday morning as winds further increase. Gusts over 40 miles per hour are possible across the east side. A band of moderate to heavy rain is expected to reach the coast by late morning or midday, bringing significant rainfall to coastal areas and mountains. This steady, moderate rain will push inland through Friday afternoon and evening. Snow levels on Friday will be quite high, above 8,000 feet, but will begin to drop Friday night. Saturday is forecast to be a wet day with another round of widespread rain and higher elevation snow continuing into Saturday night. The precipitation could be heavy at times along the Cascades. The new storm system will also bring another period of gusty winds and a further chill in temperatures. Snow levels will continue to lower Saturday night and into Sunday, potentially dropping to about 4,500 feet, which will likely cause travel impacts to higher mountain passes due to winter weather conditions. Rain and higher elevation snow showers will persist across the region on Sunday. Total rainfall from Friday through Sunday is expected to be beneficial across the entire region. Snowfall will be light for east side passes, with little accumulation expected at the Siskiyou summit. However, Cascade passes will receive several inches of snow, with up to a foot predicted for Mount Ashland and potentially up to 2 feet at Crater Lake. Beyond Sunday, current forecast models suggest a transition to less active, weaker storm systems and a slow warming trend towards the middle of next week. Well, that's it for this day's news today. So tune in and get your views counted only at KCTV, and make sure you hit that subscribe button to KCTV on your favorite platform. And while you're at it, make sure you log on to klamathcommunity.tv for the latest news, weather, and lifestyle news, sports as well, including these daily stories posted. And you'll also find exclusively on the KCTV news page for your information. And for KCTV News, I'm Christopher German. It's Thursday, you made it through another work week. We have Friday to get through, and it's going to be a wet one tomorrow, I think. But we're going to have a wet one on Saturday, too, and maybe it'll clear out for Sunday. Who knows what's going to happen. But the point is that, you know, we're closing down the farmers market this weekend. It's going to be, you know, the final one of the year. Scarecrow Row is this weekend as well. They're going to be doing it under potentially some rainy skies, but it'll not dampen the spirits of anybody, I don't think. And then after that, we're going to be starting to get towards Thanksgiving, and we're going to close down the month of October, and it's going to be all Thanksgiving all the time up until the last Thursday of November. So, hey, whew, wow, this year has gone by fast, hasn't it? Wow, I can't believe it's gone by so fast. That's what happens when you do the news every day. You just kind of chug through the news, you just chug through the day, you just chug through things, and you just kind of do it, and then before you know it, boom, there you go. It's New Year's Eve, and you've just passed a year by. Wow. As I get older, I'm finding time's going by much faster as I get older. Is that the same for you? I don't know. All right, so we'll see you guys again tomorrow for Friday. I will have some news for you, I'm sure of it, but I don't know what's going to come down the pipe. But we'll do our best to come up with a full docket of news that we can share with you. And I want to thank you all for supporting this channel. Thank you all for supporting KCTV. Thank you all for doing what you do to get us the views and keep this thing on the air and keep it happening. Okay, I think that's all I have for today. God bless. Good night. Thank you for watching, and we will see you guys again tomorrow. Happy end of the week. Happy weekend, folks. We're here. We made it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again tomorrow night. God bless. Good night. Thanks for watching.